All right, let's dive into something that might hit really close to home, something you've probably felt but maybe couldn't quite put your finger on. We're going to tackle a big question today. Why do so many intelligent people actually prefer being alone? So let me ask you something straight up. Do you ever find yourself choosing, say, a quiet walk by yourself, or even just sitting in silence, over going to a loud party? If you're nodding along right now, even a little bit, then yeah, you are definitely in the right place. For the longest time, this whole preference for being alone has been seen in two totally different ways. On the one hand, there's this common idea, right? The misconception that you're a loner, maybe antisocial, maybe you're just avoiding people. But then there's the reality, a much more powerful reality, actually, that you might just be a really creative, super focused thinker. And today, we're going to dig into the science that backs that up. Okay, so first things first, let's just tackle that big misunderstanding head on. We're calling it the loner misconception. And I bet it's a label a lot of us have felt or at least worried about at some point or another. Society, well, it has this funny habit of slapping labels on anything it doesn't quite get right away. And a preference for solitude? Oh yeah, that one almost always gets stamped with a negative label. People can see it and think it's sadness, or that you're being aloof, or maybe that you just don't have good social skills. And this is maybe the most important distinction we need to make right here. Choosing to be alone is not the same thing as feeling lonely. And crucially, it's not depression. It's an active choice, you see, not some passive state of sadness you've fallen into. So, okay, if it's not a negative thing, then what is it? Well, this brings us to the absolute core idea we're talking about today, a really powerful concept called the deep thinking state. So what is this deep thinking state? Basically, you can think of it as a mental mode that you actively turn on when you're alone. The whole point of it is to let your mind just wander, explore, and start making these cool new connections between ideas. And it can only do that because you've gotten rid of all the noise and distractions from the outside world. And I think this next part just reframes the whole thing perfectly. It's not about running away from the world, it's really about running towards your own thoughts. See, solitude isn't about avoidance. It's a tool. It's like creating the perfect workshop for your brain to do its most creative, interesting work. Okay, that's the what. Now for the how. How does this actually work? Like on a biological level. What is literally happening inside your brain when you decide to be alone? Let's take a look at your brain on solitude. Probably the easiest way to think about it is like flipping a switch. Seriously, when you make that conscious choice to step away from all the social chatter and find a quiet spot, you are basically flipping a switch in your brain. You're telling it, okay, time to change gears. And this whole process, it really breaks down into 4 pretty simple steps. First, you choose to be alone. It's a decision. Second, you purposefully minimize all those distractions. And that is the key that unlocks step 3. You activate these really specific, really powerful networks in your brain. And the payoff? Step 4, your brain starts connecting new ideas in ways it just can't when it's constantly busy dealing with everything happening around you. So what are these powerful networks we're talking about? Well, the science points to 2 main players here: your creative networks and your problem-solving networks. So when you're on that quiet walk or just sitting in silence, you are not doing nothing, not at all. You are firing up the exact parts of your brain that are responsible for innovation, for those aha moments, and for figuring out really complex problems. And all of this, it leads us to our final and I think most empowering idea. Let's talk about the incredible power of something called cognitive complexity. This, right here, really gets to the heart of it all. Wanting to be alone isn't a sign that you have a simple personality or that you can't handle being around people. It's usually the complete opposite. It's the sign of a mind that is actively looking for the space it needs to wrestle with complex thoughts and big ideas. So here's the ultimate takeaway. The next time someone calls you antisocial, or even if you start to feel a little weird for wanting to be by yourself, just remember this. You aren't avoiding people. You are actively stepping into a powerful mental state that makes cognitive complexity possible. You're not shutting down. You're making room for big ideas. So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. The next time you choose that quiet walk or you just sit in silence for a bit, try to see it for what it really is. It's an opportunity. It's your chance to flip that switch. So what big idea, what creative solution, what little breakthrough is just waiting for you in that quiet? What will your next moment of solitude unlock?